Hey guys, this is just a quick video mainly for Jeff Sullivan and Dave Dotson. Dave, I know you had a couple questions about how the online sheet was working and how I plan to incorporate that into the standing sheet. And Jeff, I know you had asked about having the standing sheet kind of rolled over for basketball or maybe some other sports, and I just want to kind of show you how it worked so you understood what would need to be done to transition it over to some other sports. So I'm sure you guys have seen this before. This is one of the region standing pages. It's actually totally blank now. I've gone ahead and cleared everything out. Again, I'm trying to make the whole thing fully automated to work with an online form. So where we would normally have all the team names from the teams in the region, that's been replaced by fields that can be edited. So let's say we had to rearrange the regions or juggle things around, we wouldn't have to create a whole new sheet. We could just make a couple quick changes and it would update everything. So let's say we were moving Blake over to the 4A North. We could just type Blake into a team name slot here. Then they pop up in the 4A North standings, and then their power ranking will be calculated and they'll be sorted in terms of the overall standings. So to work with that, now we have the online form. I'm just setting it up for wrestling right now. But let's say a coach would come in here. We could have this password restricted or have people have to log in. We could talk about that later, how we wanted to limit that to just coaches. But if somebody wanted to put their schedule in here, they would just select that. They also have the option for the dual meet results. And then they have a drop down list here of all the schools in the state, all the MPSSAA member schools. So they could select Blake if we're entering that in. This is all the information that's on the current schedule entry form. I'm just going to just type some stuff in here to get through this because these are all required fields. Coaches, phone numbers, name, athletic directors, number, name, all that kind of stuff. School classification, we'll say they're in the 4A North. School colors, that's also on the form, so I just included that. So once they get past that page with all that basic information, then they'll be taken to a page that has them gives them options to enter all their dual meets, up to 14 separate options. And there's a couple fields down here at the bottom, because we only have a list of all the schools that are member MPSSAA schools. We've also given some options down here in case they schedule against non-MPSSAA schools. So if a team was coming in here after they'd entered in their general information, they would just have to put in the date of a dual meet. They get a little drop down calendar here, or they can type the date in, and then they can just kind of click on, it's going a little slow right now, but they can click on the date of that duel. It automatically gets filled in. They can click on the drop down menu here and pick the team that they're going to be wrestling against. This is a better option for how the rest of the sheet works because all the team names have to match up with how everything's spelled in order for the whole sheet to work. So let's say they're wrestling one match against Aberdeen, and then let's see, we had the last one for 416. So let's say that they've got another dual meet on 419. I know we're a little out of season here, but just for demonstration purposes, let's say they're wrestling against Aberdeen and Annapolis. Again, things are running pretty slow now because I'm also recording everything that's going on the screen. It would normally run much faster than this. But they would enter in all their dates and their dual meet opponents. Again, if they had somebody who is not on the list, they could type that in down here, and that could be used as well. So they're going to go ahead and submit this. Dave, I know one of your questions is, okay, once you enter that information in, where does that go? Where's that stored? That would actually come into a form responses sheet here. It pops in here saying, what are you entering? It's dual meet schedule, and then all that information that I typed in on the first page, as well as the dual meet opponents and dates. So what I've actually set up now for the sheet to do is kind of sort through this data on its own. And again, I didn't fill out the entire schedule here, so not everything's filled out, but you can see that it pulled the date and the opponent from that form, and it would fill in the whole rest of the schedule for us if I entered the rest of the data, but I haven't done that yet. But the nice thing that's also incorporated now is that you could go back into the same form and say, let's enter some results in for those matches. Again, this was Blake versus Aberdeen. We could go back into that same form and say we're going to enter in dual meet results now. And then say, what team are you entering it for? We're going to say this is Blake versus Aberdeen. And let's say the final score was Blake 50 and Aberdeen 20. We submit that score. That information, once we submit it, goes into the same sheet. It goes into the same form response page. Right here, it goes into a different section here, but it says Blake versus Aberdeen 50-20. And again, I've changed the sheet, so now that pulls that data in here, it finds that, matches that up with the dual meet on the schedule. It calculates with the score, what the point differential is, and whether it was a win or a loss, throws it in there. If it was a win, tabulates it for their power rankings, and then all this sorts the standings. So I kind of see this working where just the region directors have access to this standing sheet and the form responses, and if things need to be changed, things need to be deleted, edited, the region directors could handle that. But other than that, the coaches pretty much just update their records or their results, as well as uploading their schedule at the beginning of the year, and the sheet takes care of just about everything else. If you guys have questions, I'm sure you do. Maybe better to meet in person instead of emailing about all this stuff, but just want to give you an idea where I'm going with things. Jeff, to switch things over to basketball, it's probably going to take me a couple weeks to get this fully worked out, but we can talk about a timeline for that down the road. I would need some information from the MPSSAA, team names, how they want them to be displayed. I want that information to be consistent. That's the only way the sheet works. How many potential teams could end up in a region if things get juggled around. I would want to make the sheet so that it can be edited for the future and not just work with what we have right now. So just want to give you guys an idea of how things would work. That's pretty much it. I guess I'll talk to you guys later.